Saya Tan Sri Makelio, President KSI Strategic Institute for Asia Pacific, or KSI, Mr. Indra Weir, Chairman Pacific Basin Economic Council, or PBEC, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a warm welcome to all of you. Firstly, let me express my greatest appreciation and gratitude to the Organizing Committee, KSI Strategic Institute for Asia Pacific, Pacific Basin Economic Council, and China Daily for the gracious invitation to the 2021 Asia Economic and Entrepreneurship Summit with the theme, Building Sustainable Infrastructure for Economic Growth. The infrastructure assets and services provides the basic physical and organizational structures that defines the efficient functionality of an economy and its social dynamics. Therefore, access to reliable, quality, efficient, and affordable infrastructure services are critical in reducing poverty, promoting economic growth, supporting social development, and building resilient communities. Overall, there is a lack in access to basic physical infrastructure, including roads, pipe water supply, improved sanitation, and electricity in the global population. Moreover, services may be unreliable, poor quality, inefficiently supplied, or unaffordable. These conditions impose constraints to human health, quality of life, education, and employment, particularly in the rural areas. In Malaysia, infrastructure development, which is one of the main drivers of economic growth, will receive a big boost in the 12th Malaysia Plan, running from 2021 to 2025, to assist the sector in reviving the economy. It is also expected that the budget for the 12th Malaysia Plan is set to beat previous Malaysia Plan's budget with a higher amount of more than 250 billion. As we embrace the concept sustainable and quality infrastructure, the Ministry of Works Malaysia will launch the National Construction Policy 2030, or in short, NCP 2030, with the theme, digitalizing the construction sector to accelerate the adoption of technology in all work processes before, during, and after construction. The Malaysian construction sector is set to move in tandem with Sustainable Development Goals, or SDG, through the NCP 2030 strategic thrusts and align with other initiatives, including the Shared Prosperity Vision 2030, or SPV 2030, to help Malaysia achieve sustainable growth encompassing fair and equitable distribution across income groups, ethnicities, and regions. Ladies and gentlemen, in today's environment, climate change is impacting communities across the globe in unprecedented ways, like rising sea levels, extreme weather, food and water insecurity, resource scarcity, and conflict, which render us reason not to build infrastructure like we normally do. As such, we need urgent and preemptive actions through new collaboration and partnerships for ambitious new ideas to mitigate climate change. We will have to build smart infrastructures by designing, building, and operating infrastructure in ways which will bring and maintain sound economic development while at the same time protecting our vital natural resources and environment. Above all, I believe resilient and inclusive infrastructure, which are sustainable, can change our lives. The whole life cycle of the infrastructure development must promote more effective and efficient use of financial resources, carbon footprint consideration, social cohesion, and stewardship of natural ecosystems. As stipulated in the NCP 2030, the Ministry of Work continuously promotes sustainable development throughout the life cycle of construction by addressing environmental issues such as development planning, implementation of design, green procurement, construction management method, operation and maintenance of assets, asset management, renovation and demolishing of structures, and low carbon development. In driving the National Sustainable Development Agenda, the Ministry of Work, through its various agencies, has introduced various initiatives to meet this goal. Among the initiatives are as follows. 1. Specification for building projects that encourage contractors to use green products, such as products that are eco-labeling or My Hijau mark. 2. Introduction of the Sustainable Infrastructure Green Building Index or GBI and My Green Highway Index. 3. Requirement for Construction Waste Management Plan or CWMP for managing waste systematically through reduce, reuse and recycle approach. 4. Specification that requires contractor to ensure all waste generated on sites in accordance with the Solid Waste and Public Cleansing Management Act 2007 and Environmental Quality Act 1974. 5. Building Information Modeling or BIM as a modeling technology and associated set of processes to produce, communicate, analyze, and use digital information models throughout the construction project life cycle. 6. Usage of industrialized building system or IBS for government projects in order to reduce resources and waste. 7. Improving design standards towards sustainable development by considering life cycle perspective. And 8. Application of MSO ISO 14001 Environmental Management System or EMS certification and MS ISO 50001 Energy Management System or ENMS certification for the Public Works Department headquarters building in Kuala Lumpur. Ladies and gentlemen, we are committed in developing sustainable infrastructure through the use of green rating tools such as Penerapan Hijau or PH, and Malaysian Government Reduction in Environmental Sustainability Tool or in short MICRAS. The use of these rating tools are critical to ensure that we keep carbon emissions at the minimum while striving to meet projects' requirement. The Standard of Green Product Scoring System or GPSS is also in place to support the Government Green Procurement or GGP initiative, which aims to promote the procurement of green products and technologies in Malaysia. Since 2016, in ensuring that the public projects are implemented sustainably, all buildings projects worth more than 20 million and road projects worth more than 50 million ringgit were required to adopt the green rating tool. Under the Ministry of Works Organizational Plan 2021-2025, there's also a program to contribute to the achievements of the country's commitment to reduce carbon emissions or greenhouse gas through carbon emission reduction for buildings occupied and regulated by us, with a target of 1.4 million kilogram of CO2 equivalent per year. Apart from the implementation of the Sustainable Development Initiatives mentioned earlier, the government has also implemented several sustainable projects, such as the hybrid solar system installation project for 134 rural schools in Sarawak, Malaysia. The use of this alternative electricity system is the most optimal solution technically and economically to replace or upgrade the existing system that is a stand-alone diesel generator which has high operating costs and can reduce CO2 emissions. To further support our national commitment towards SDG, an assessment was carried out to understand and quantify the various sources of GHG emission within the construction sector to establish a basis for policymakers to formulate appropriate policies towards reducing the industry-wide GHG emissions. One of our most prolific environmental impact assessment or EIA project is the Rawang Bypass project, which involved the construction of an elevated road structure passing through a gazetted forest reserve. The project was a challenge as it involved many government agencies and public outcry where potential extensive earthworks and deforestation would translate into a permanent loss to the wildlife habitat. In this effort, we are pleased to report that we managed to build a mega structure with minimal sacrifice to forest reserve and control all the environmental elements as per the EIA requirements. To enhance post-project environmental performance, the contractor made a proactive effort by replanting new trees in the area. It is now a well-known project that has taken the interest of the public as it has a breathtaking view from 60 feet above the ground when driving on the road. Ladies and gentlemen, as the custodian of infrastructure development in Malaysia, the Ministry of Work also promotes the internationalization of the construction sector, aligned with our objective to provide conducive environment for economic growth and international competitiveness. In facilitating trade, we continue to actively participate in the development of the ASEAN Sectoral Mutual Recognition Arrangement for Building and Construction Materials, or in short BCMRA, with 9 other ASEAN members. Currently, there are 3 products identified under this MRA, namely steel and reinforcement bar, glass, and cement. With the ratification of the MRA, the goal is to help reduce time and cost in the import and export processes of these building materials. This platform also allows us to exchange knowledge, expertise, best practices on standards, conformity assessment procedures, and technical regulation on building and construction materials. The latest initiatives under this MRA is the harmonization of standards with Japan, Korea, and EU. One of its objectives is to provide sustainable and safe materials in our construction sector. I can see that today's event will also discuss on the prospect of digitalization, such as the challenges of digital economy, the future trends, and its impact on our economic growth. I believe the adoptions of technological and innovative tools in the construction sector will further strengthen knowledge and information on implementing sustainable practices. The construction sites of the future will be almost human-free, with the way the Industrial Revolution 4.0 is taking shape around us. By 2050, robots will do the heavy lifting, while autonomous cranes and excavators will be handled by social humanoid robots. This is the envisioned future of the construction sector as we gear towards full-scale digitalization within its ecosystem. With the anticipated introduction of robotic applications at construction sites by 2030, the construction industry will exponentially reshape and remodel the sector in the way how infrastructure, real estate, and other built assets are designed, constructed, operated, and maintained. Thus, strong cooperation measures between the government and private sector are essential to ensure technological adoption and improvement within the sector can be successfully implemented. Ladies and gentlemen, I understand you will have a session on the new growth areas that will cover on post-COVID-19 initiatives. And this is particularly interesting as we strive to revive our respective economy. As I see it, we are now presented with a special opportunity facing a special set of challenges, from a pandemic that destroyed lives and livelihood to the present threat of climate change. Needless to say, the government, Industry players and various stakeholders must converge synergistically in adopting and innovating brave new ideas to help the recovery of the construction sector in Malaysia. The ultimate goals of the Ministry of Work is to provide infrastructure projects that will benefit all Malaysians by developing facilities and amenities for the betterment of the people. This includes maintaining and constructing federal roads and buildings, enhance mobility and connectivity to facilitate the economic growth. In doing so, the Ministry of Work upholds the Wawasan Kemakmuran Bersama 2030, specifically Strategic Thrust 5, which promotes socio-economic well-being by making the people one of the most important elements of sustainable economic development. Finally, I hope this event will succeed to act as a platform for knowledge sharing and enhance cooperation among us, which is in line with the Ministry of Work's objective to build and strengthen entrepreneurs in the construction sector. Thank you.